Hello and welcome back to my channel for another Sun-Moon combination. If you're new, my name is Lorraine, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Aries Sun with Pisces Moon. I'm going to start off the video by talking about what a typical Aries Sun is like, and then I'm going to get into the moon placement and then talk about how the moon and sun probably interact and how it affects certain things. So if there's certain things about the sun description that don't quite make sense or don't quite resonate, then hang around till I talk about the moon placement and the combination, and then it will probably tie together quite nicely and make a lot of sense. So Aries Suns are very passionate, aggressive, competitive, goal-driven, loyal, energetic, and self-confident, and fiercely independent. I know of a lot of adults that like to kind of romanticize being a kid, like, oh, to be a kid again, you know, no responsibilities, don't have to pay bills, oh, wouldn't that be nice? And I am like, hell nah, hell no. Like, I don't know about others, this is my personal experience, but as a kid, like, I don't miss being a kid at all. I much prefer being an adult, even if it means I have more responsibilities and bills. I much prefer having my own independence. So, like I mentioned, Aries love their independence, and because of this, they hate being told what to do, and I think most Aries don't enjoy having a boss, or at the very least, they don't enjoy not having any kind of autonomy or leadership position at work. So if you're an Aries or you know someone that's an Aries, they're probably far happier either starting their own business or being in some kind of leadership position at work, whether that's a supervisor, manager, or the CEO, or at the very least having a job where they have some form of autonomy with their work. Aries Suns are also quite impulsive, and they kind of tend to not think through decisions a lot. They're more spontaneous, you know. They want to just, when they get an idea and they're excited about it, they just want to do adventures and they want to do stuff. They're more about action, and so they don't really think through all of the possibilities and do a lot of planning. So, and they're also not risk averse. So Aries, yeah, they don't really plan stuff or think things through a lot before jumping in head first. Now, nothing lights Aries up more than the pursuit of a goal that they're really passionate about. Like I mentioned, they're very goal-driven, and Aries are really good at starting projects, but they're not so good at finishing them. Aries has shiny object syndrome because they're so passionate and they're so excited about the start of something new. Then once they get to like the work and the in-between, and the passion wears off, and then they'll usually abandon it for some newer, more exciting goal that they're passionate about. So Aries are very good at starting, they're not very good at finishing. And Aries have very like fluctuating energy. It's because it's so much energy and so much passion like at the beginning that it's not sustainable to continue that level of energy or passion, and as a result they usually fizzle out or even burn out. And so Aries are not known for their slow, methodical, perseverant pace with things. That's definitely more of an earth sign thing. You know, they say that life is a marathon, but for Aries it's a series of sprints. So I find actually Aries can sometimes have a hard time like with being tired or burnt out all of the time, because many of us don't know how to like save energy for later and don't know how to like slow down before we get to the point where we burn out. Aries hate being controlled, and spite is definitely a powerful motivator for them. Now, Aries tell it like it is. Aries don't really beat around the bush. They cannot handle any backhanded, passive-aggressive, or fakeness from people. That's the kind of thing that really makes Aries blood boil, and sometimes they can be considered to be an asshole because Aries are just very, very blunt, and they're very to the point, and they just don't understand like why you have to be like manipulative or like beat around the bush or all those backhanded things. Like if you have something bad to say it to my face. Be upfront about it. Now, Aries are very impatient, like I mentioned, and this is also the case when it comes to things like their temper. I find Aries Aries are probably the quickest to anger of all of the 12 signs, but they also get over it really quickly. So like I mentioned, it's so much energy and passion at the beginning, and then it fizzles out like a lot quicker than some of the other signs. Now, Aries are aggressive, like I said at the beginning, and this is true. It's not always a bad thing. What I mean is that Aries are very aggressive about everything. They love aggressively, they get angry aggressively, they approach projects and ideas aggressively. They get excited, and they're very aggressive about how they express their passion. Now, Aries will stick up for and defend their loved ones no matter what. Like I mentioned, they're really loyal and very passionate, and I find usually if an Aries is getting angry, a lot of the time it could be because they're defending someone that they care about. Aries also really want to see their loved ones succeed. Aries are just passionate about so many things, and they're passionate about doing what they want to do and living their life how they please, because they're the first sign of the zodiac, so they are a more selfish sign. And this isn't always a bad thing, but they are the more selfish sign in that they put themselves first. And so that can be a good thing. It can also be a bad thing depending on how healthy this person is and how evolved or unevolved they are. Now, if they're healthy, I find because they put themselves first, they're much more inclined to then be able to do that for other people. They bring that passion and that vitality to the people they care about, and as a result, I find Aries can be some of like the best cheerleaders because they want to see the people around them be as passionate and excited about life, and wants to push people to be the best they can be. Aries also, I think, are known for aggressive pep talks. So my partner has been the subject of many of those. And it's because we care, and we also love giving advice. Now, Aries aren't the best at dealing with other people's emotions. Now, this does depend on the moon placement as well as other factors, but for the most part, Aries in and of itself, we are not the best at dealing with people's emotions. And that's not to say that we don't care, quite the contrary, actually, but Aries, like when someone we care about comes to us to talk about a problem in their life or something that's making them upset, our knee-jerk reaction is to fix it. What can I do to fix it? We'll give advice because we think it's how we think that if something is making you upset or something is a problem, it needs to be fixed so it won't make you feel this way anymore. And it's kind of a learning curve for Aries. It definitely was for myself that sometimes when people come to you with a problem and they're talking to you about something, sometimes they just want to talk. They don't need you to fix it. They don't want your advice, even if we think they need it. Sometimes they just want to talk. And so that can be a challenging part for Aries because that's just not how we're wired. We're wired on let's fix this. I'll go beat up this person, give you an aggressive pep talk. I'll give you lots of advice that you don't want. Let's make it better. So even if they're not best at dealing with the emotions or listening and just being there to console you, Aries do care. But Aries do not have a tolerance for people that just sit around and wallow and feel sorry for themselves and for a long period of time and just don't try. And they have no patience or sympathy for people who ask for advice, go against that advice, and then come back and complain about the consequences and feeling sorry for themselves. Because when we love someone, when we care about someone, us Aries, we love pushing people to be the best that they can be. And when it feels like the people we care about aren't trying, or they're not doing their best, or they're making decisions or doing things that are against their own best interests, or they ask for advice and don't follow it, we're very honest about how we feel about it. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. Because Aries, like I mentioned, they're not the ones that want to just sit and talk about your feelings. We're more like doers, action takers, and fixers. No, let's, either do something to fix it, or let's do something to not think about it and shove it down. Basically, Aries are quite to the point. They don't beat around the bush, especially with the people they care about. So even if maybe sometimes your feelings get hurt, at least Aries are very honest about where you stand with them and how they feel about you. And it's because they want the same in return. Most Aries, like I mentioned, that are healthy and, I'm going to get to the unevolved aspects of Aries because I'm very aware that they exist. But when Aries are healthy and fairly evolved, They're very straight and to the point about where you stand with them and how they feel about you, because we want the same in return. It's because Aries don't like the fake or the passive aggressive stuff that goes like talking behind each other's back and then acting like everything's fine to your face and then finding out about it, like gossip and things like that. Aries don't like being on the receiving end of that, and so they're very forthcoming with being like, hey, I'm going to talk to you directly. They're not super conflict averse. That's a big thing with Aries, is they don't really shy away from conflict, especially with loved ones, because they're just, let's get it out in the open. Let's talk about it. Like, Aries are very to the point. And so they appreciate when other people are very to the point with them. So now, some of the downsides of Aries. So like you've probably picked up now, Aries are very passionate, energetic individuals. And now we get to kind of the problems that can arise from Aries. And that is, if that passionate energy does not have a proper outlet, ideally either something physical or competitive. Aries are very competitive. So if it does not have some kind of healthy outlet, it builds up, and that's what leads to the Aries stereotypes of being an asshole or hot-headed or very short-tempered, where they fly off the handle and just because they're unable to control all of this energy and these feelings that, and this passion that has like bottled up, that they don't have an outlet for. And so I find it's not uncommon for Aries to need some form of anger management. Now, for the most part, though, Aries are very passionate individuals who are fiercely independent, and when they care about someone, they have a very direct way of showing it, and they like to push people to be the best they can be, and sometimes it doesn't come across how we mean it to. So quickly, before I get to the moon placement, I wanted to let you know about the new Facebook group that I am starting called the Astrology Club. It's going to be really awesome. I'm going to be putting free training in there quite often. I also really want to be making transit videos. Inside the Facebook group, there's also a 2021 astrology calendar that you can download for free, basically detailing all major astrology transits for the rest of the year, going from May until the end of December. So if you would like to join the Facebook group, link in the description. I would really love if you join, talking all about astrology. I'm also on Subscribestar now, so if you would like to support this channel financially and help me make even more content and get access to exclusive content, then a link will be in the description. So now I get to Pisces Moon. So Pisces Moon is very sensitive, romantic, artistic, and they are a dreamer. Pisces see the world as they like to see it and how they want it to be, rather than maybe how it actually is. They kind of have rose-colored glasses. They love, maybe even addicted to love. Pisces like to get high, kind of like by any means necessary. It can be substances, but for a lot it can be like, spirituality, yoga, meditation, love with another person. Like, it can be a bunch of things. And Pisces kind of have, I like to think of it as, they have one foot in another realm. They kind of would rather be in some other realm that's better than Earth, and so that's where they kind of have the reputation of having their head in the clouds, is because they like to imagine a better world where they're half spirit, half human, or something like that. So because of this tendency to romanticize things, they have a tendency to fall in love with maybe the idea of someone or even a place more than the actual person or the place. So it could be like they romanticize Paris and then they actually go there and it's not anything like they thought it would be, or they romanticize the idea of someone but not what they're actually like. So Pisces kind of have a reputation of like being gullible and naive, and this is kind of true. To be fair, some people kind of make it seem like Pisces is like the stupid sign of the zodiac, which I don't think they're stupid. It's just Pisces have like this kind-heartedness about them, that they just expect like the best of intentions from other people. They expect everyone to have as kind and generous intentions as they do. They don't expect other people to have like nefarious intentions or take advantage of them, and that can be what happens. And so they don't like, they also believe that people are being honest with them. So they always expect the best of intentions. They always expect that people are being honest with them. And so this can be lead to them being taken advantage of. And it's also why sometimes humor may go over their head. My partner is a Pisces Sun, and sarcasm will just like go right over her. She's like, oh, really? And I'm like, no. Now, that said, I do find some of these are less likely to happen because they have Aries Sun helping them out. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. And so these two signs actually have a lot to learn from each other. I'm an Aries and I'm dating a Pisces, and so it can actually be a really great pairing because you have Aries, which is the sign of self, and that's in the sun placement, which is a good placement. It's exalted there. And then Pisces in the moon placement, which is it's good to have a feminine sign in the moon placement and a masculine sign in the sun sign. But my point is, it can be actually a really great pairing because you have that like a sure sense of identity with Aries Sun, which is really good because Pisces has this tendency to overly sacrifice themselves and give too much to people. And that's less likely to happen when you have the Aries Sun because they are still an Aries Sun. They're still going to put themselves first, or at least somewhere at the top. And then the Pisces is going to help them be a lot more caring about other people, be able to talk to people about their emotions, be a little less aggressive and have a little less temper, and just be more sensitive, just more in tune with people. And Pisces really wants to be like one with everyone and everything. And so this could be really helpful for Aries in helping them be less aggressive, maybe less temperamental, less domineering sometimes. And so this could be really helpful. But then the Aries was also going to really help the Pisces moon not get taken advantage of and not like be a little too naive, because Aries is willing to stick up for themselves. And so this is a Pisces that is less likely to be taken advantage of because they have the Aries Sun looking out for them. Aries is also a sign that really does not shy away from conflict. They're not afraid of engaging in conflict at all. And Pisces, on the other hand, absolutely abhors conflict. They hate conflict. And so it would be interesting to see how this plays out. It could be a good balance where you have someone who is able to deal with conflict when it arises and when it needs to be dealt with, but then isn't someone who like creates it or it picks their battles essentially. On the other hand, you could have someone who like on the surface seems like they are able to like push back on this conflict, but then if it's something that they're really emotionally invested in or it's someone that they're really close to, then they might kind of cave a little bit because that would then be speaking to the Pisces moon. But if you're wondering which one kind of wins out like over the other, if one is more dominant, if they're going to be more feeling and sensitive and Pisces and kind-hearted, or are they going to be a little more Aries where they're like passionate and really confident and that sort of thing, then it does depend on whether this person was born at night or during the day. If they're born during the day, they're probably going to relate more to their Aries Sun, and if they're born at night, they're probably going to relate more to the Pisces moon. And then it also depends on what houses these signs are in. So these signs would be in adjoining, like right next to each other houses. So it depends on what houses these signs are in and what areas of your life those houses represent to see where you may see one over the other. It also depends on whether you're born during the day or at night. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. I'm almost able to get my channel monetized, and so I would really appreciate the subscribes as well as the watch time. So if there is content that you would like me to make, please comment below and let me know, and I will do my best to make it. And if you want to join the Astrology Club, a link will be in the description. I hope to see you there. That's all for now. Take care.